Flight of the Kingfissher is a pulpy science fiction adventure story. See the episode description for content warnings, and stay tuned to this frequency. Well, folks, it's an exciting time to be out on the frontier. Everyone is getting ready for the Port Solar Classic, with visitors coming from as far away as the old worlds to watch those sea skimmers race. But if you can't make it here in person, don't worry. We'll be covering all the action, right here on your long-range crystal transceiver. In the meantime, keep your eyes on the stars and your ears tuned into Radio Free Frontier.
Esperanza, having successfully dispatched the guards of the mess hall and peering inside, you see a group of about 8 scientists huddled, sitting on the chairs around the dining tables, and another soldier inside with them. He doesn't seem too distressed or involved. He obviously hasn't noticed your actions yet. But beyond that, you also notice that there is, on one of the tables near the kitchen, a pile of a local fruit that, while it tastes delicious, when it is crushed, gives off a noxious odor. And that is an asset, a native fruit that, when crushed, gives off an overwhelmingly unpleasant odor. You are, however, somewhat exposed as you're peering in through those windows, and a new shuttle has just landed behind you. A man in a ridiculously gilded military uniform has disembarked and is now heading not towards you, but towards the dig site.
Zeta ducks behind the building and waits for him and his cohort to walk past as the crunching of their boots grows far enough away. She moves back to the window to just double check everything inside has stayed the same, that hasn't changed in that span of time. She sees the pile of fruit and she starts to put a little plan together, but there's really not enough time for it to be a solid plan, and she's very much a run and gun kind of person. She throws the door open, she shoots directly at the pile of fruit, and just yells, "Scatter!"
The smell that arises from the lace fire burning through this pungent fruit reaches your nostrils, but only after it reaches the nostrils of everyone inside the dining hall. The soldier guarding the people, you can't quite tell if they're throwing up or not, but they might as well be. The archaeologists have had a little more experience with the spell, and they know to take your advice when you say scatter, and so they do. I do want you to take the condition, an unpleasant odor. As a bit of this fruit's juice lands on you and gets its smell inextricably from your clothing.
Oh, I'm never gonna get this out. I start running.
Captain Valentine.
Just don't call me late for dinner.
Captain Valentine, you are aboard the Kingfissher, buzzing the Azure Dragon, a much larger gunship than you, quite successfully at this point. What is your plan going forward?
Captain Valentine Deck's gonna look back over at Dr. Chapman. You doing all right back there?
This is exhilarating.
I'm so glad you're having a fantastic time. Okay, so typically I charge for people to fly on this thing, but you're going to do something for me that I think could cover all the expenses for the fuel utilized and everything like that, Dr. Chapman. So there's going to be like some sonar type of equipment. It's really archaic and everything like that. Can you point us out to the proper dig site, and maybe we can try to figure out, maybe there's an alternate route in and out of that place. Maybe there's strategic places where we can plant some demolitions to collapse the thing in on itself to protect the integrity of this ancient site or anything like that. Maybe anything that you science types like to participate in.
Absolutely. No, I've seen aerial photos of this, so I can easily direct you from here. We just need to go this way and then this way, and that sounds like you are also trying to roll a recon move. If you could roll me that recon move using reason.
Okie dokie. And because I'm an ace pilot, I get to roll with advantage.
You do indeed.
That is a 6 and a 5, plus 0, because I'm not that bright as the captain, is an 11.
Avery, having seen the commander of this gunship make his big entrance and head off towards the dig site, what are you up to?
I turn to Dr. Kim and say, do me a favor. could you go and find my attaché, Miss Cruz, and let her know I'm heading to the dig site? And I head to the dig site. En route, I would like to see, because I've likely been poring all over these ruins that we've been unearthing. Can I construct a mental map in my mind of... I'm picturing like a ziggurat or a tomb or something that like there's catacombs when you go inside.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty accurate description of these ruins. It's a complex of several stone-like buildings connected by a series of tunnels with a few points that rise just up above the jungle canopy. It's largely flooded due to the shifting of the river and whatnot, and has been largely consumed by the earth, but you are pretty familiar with it.
I know there's one bit that we are trying to unearth, like a main one. I want to basically construct a mental map of this site because I plan to take the commander and lure him underground to buy some getaway time.
That absolutely sounds like a recon move. If you could roll that for me, also with reason.
Robert, am I able to do this at advantage? My special move is Xenoarchaeologist. When trying to understand or utilize precursor knowledge, all associated rolls are made with advantage. Would this be considered?
Yeah, I think so. Trying to understand how and why they built their buildings this way. Go ahead and roll with advantage.
Dope, which means that 6 and 3 is 9 plus 2 is another 11.
Esperanza, last we saw of you, you were escorting some of the scientists back to the boathouse. You do this without much difficulty.
Zeta pulls up to the boathouse and is just shoving archaeologists in here, trying to get them to get on the boat. She's counting how many were in the dining hall, how many have made it here, the ones that she passed earlier, looks around, doesn't see Avery fucking anywhere. James, where is one?
Yes, they went off to try and deal with the people at the dig site. There are... Sorry, I don't mean to upset you, but there are 1 or 2, 3 to be specific, scientists still down at the dig site. They were working there when this all went down.
Have I seen our ship yet? Would I know that going downriver we wouldn't find the ship?
Yes, I think so. I think at this point you've probably been able to see the Kingfissher buzzing the Azure Dragon.
Okay, James, stay here. Don't go anywhere. I'm gonna... okay. Do we have comms, like, to talk to?
You do not.
No? Okay, didn't think so. Just stay here, don't go anywhere. I'm gonna go get Avery, and then I will come back, and don't, the ship is here, so don't go down. Just stay in this building, close doors, bar yourselves in, I will come find you. Okay! As Zeta runs out to go find Avery, out of the corner of her eye, she sees the 2 ships that have landed in the river. And while she doesn't necessarily trust Avery to take on all the people that went down there, she also knows that they are smart enough not to directly take them on, and they're probably not going to, fight them. So she turns her attention to trying to mess with the escape route of these people who landed here. So I'd love to go investigate one of the ships, whichever one is closer.
Yeah, so there's 2 on the river right now. One of them is a fairly small military-grade shuttlecraft, really just meant to have soldiers jump on and off. The other one is built with a little more luxury in mind.
Yeah, fuck that one.
Okay. So you approach one of the shuttles, still sitting in the river. At this point, the guards have largely abandoned them. They figure things are either locked down or they are moving towards the camp to lock things down further there. Your way is unimpeded.
I would love to dismantle whatever mechanism I think I can find that would cause lift so that they can get back up into the air.
Sure. That sounds like a day move to me.
Yep.
What are you afraid will happen if you fail?
I think failure here would mean I get on this ship and I simply don't know how it works. And I get on here and I just can't find anything that is actually going to stop it from leaving.
Okay. If you would roll that day move with reason.
Keep doing things with my brain. I'm no good at those. Oh, baby, I don't need it, though. That's an 11 on the dice.
Valentine, skimming the ship out towards the ruins, your temporary co-pilot has arranged some of the odd mismatch of radar, LiDAR, whatever sort of detection systems that you can manage to get working on this ship towards the jungle where the ruins are. They managed to actually get a pretty good topographical depiction of it with some highs and lows, and even a few potential spaces further out into the jungle where there might be more ruins. So the asset that you got from that is a detailed survey of the ruins and surrounding jungle, with markers showing where other ruins might be buried. The other thing they determined, though, was that while you could potentially land the Kingfisher, the dense foliage is going to make that very challenging.
I think in conjunction with kind of like having that like full topographical survey and everything and noticing the dense foliage, it's going to be hard to land. The captain is going to wheel back around after kind of maintaining like a hover kind of pattern around so that we're not just like completely stopped when we're kind of continuously moving around the dig site and everything. We'll look at the doctor and say, how comfortable do you think that the nerds are going to be with climbing up and aboard this ship with like a winch or something?
I mean, we are archaeologists, so we're a little bit more physically fit than, your average scientist.
Good at the pull-ups?
I wouldn't bet my life on it, though.
More sit-up kind of folks. Okay, got it. All right. Back in my day, there used to be actually like a full suite of fitness tests that we used to do that was like a full body thing and everything. I don't know if kids your age, they all just focus on leg day or something. Anyways, I'm thinking that maybe a good way that if we have to like kind of shuttle people out really quick is maybe doing like, how we did a flyby earlier and that was kind of like to piss them off, kind of like drum up the hornet's nest and everything like that?
Yes, I remember that quite distinctly.
Perfect. Well, we're going to do that again, but this time slower, okay? We're going to come in low and slow, all right? So we're not going to piss off anybody, blow anything off with exhaust. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the back hatch in the rear of the thing hanging open, and I'm going to have, like, maybe some rigging or maybe some netting or maybe some ropes. Actually, you're smart. Maybe you can go in the back hatch, the hold, and figure out if there's things that we can attach together like ropes or winches or anything to like help people get up and everything like that with us like having to like land and everything because there's like trees, and also there'll be a fine put on the Kingfisher if we do any destruction to any sort of like flora or fauna that wasn't like necessary for the process of the dig.
You are awfully worried about regulations for a planet that I don't think is... Anyway, that's not the point. Anyway, yes, I think I can find something like that.
There's a tenuous line and balance between being a person of wealth and a person that is in destitution in this galaxy, all right? And I'm not going to have any sort of errant regulatory fine slapped on this baby, all right?
Understood. I will do my best to find a way to get the diggers up without damaging too much of the local fauna and flora.
Absolutely. Just the coolest way, the most efficient way, but with the least amount of damage to the ship or the, anything that would cost any kind of fines or fees or anything like that. Absolutely, all right?
Aye, aye, Captain.
It's been a long time since I've heard that. Felt really good. Thank you.
Down below you, in the jungle, running as fast as their little legs will take them, Avery, you have a few moments to think and remember the various spots in the ruins that you've been to so far. And you remember that there's actually a particular place in one of the spires that is almost impossible to see from the outside. But when you are there, you get a great view of the surrounding ruins and even all the way back to the camp. That is an asset. A hidden chamber in the ruins that provides an excellent view of the entire camp. And basically, as soon as you have this revelation, you find yourself at the site of the dig. As I described earlier, it is an enormous stone complex the size of a small town. A lot of it has been buried underground due to the shifting nature of jungle rivers and the looseness of the soil around here. The buildings are connected by maze-like corridors containing countless small chambers, and a few winding spires that peek their way just above the canopy of the jungle. Paint the scene. While the purpose of this construction, like most precursor ruins, might never be known, what clues have the dig team unearthed that might point in the right direction?
Much of the remains of garments that have been found at this site have been identical, indicating that either this post required a uniform or some sort of religious attire.
There are configurations of lines that at first you might think are just simple troughs carved into stone that you realize are actually, to add off of the religious aspect, could be ritual circles. The language on them for their purpose is not clear, but it might have something to do with seasonal changes.
And outside of the construct itself, they have found remnants of an exterior wall that most likely provided defense to the building.
Avery, as you step through the clearing and see this complex laid out before you, what do you do?
I make a beeline for the diggers that are still on the site, and as soon as I get to them, I say, rack 'em and pack 'em, but put the tools in the loadout cases and put the relics in your toolboxes. We're going to do our best to fool them. It might not work, but at least it'll give us something of a head start. And then I turn toward where the commander is coming from and mopping a little bit of sweat off my brow. ditch my bag and then stride forward to meet him, saluting the military salute of deference, which is bringing 3 fingers up and covering my mouth, and then presenting it to him.
At first, 2 of his bodyguards lower their rifles towards you, but when you make that military salute, he waves a little hand and the rifles are relaxed a little bit.
Commander Thade, I presume?
That is correct. Here to surrender?
Now, there's no need for surrender. You're here to take what we've unearthed. I assume the military council got my missive.
Council? That's a funny idea. We're not quite like that. I don't know who you've been talking with, but we go where we want and we take what we find.
I see. Well, allow me to help you find it. My name is James Kim. I'm the lead on this particular expedition. We've been in the midst of unearthing what could be considered the greatest scientific discovery of our age. But, more to the point, looks like it'll fetch a wonderful prize from the right buyer. Allow me to lead the way. It's a bit heavier than we've been able to unearth, but your men should have no trouble.
Gladly. Men, follow Mr. Kim.
Doctor.
My apologies. Follow Dr. Kim.
I would be honored if you would see the site for yourself, Commander.
That, to me, sounds like you're trying to convince someone to do something that they weren't necessarily wanting to do, so that would be a day move.
Mm-hmm.
With presence. If you fail this roll, what are you afraid will happen?
If he fails this roll, I am afraid that the men will go in with my team, or with the team. I've already adopted them. I'm afraid that the soldiers will go in with the diggers, leaving just me and Commander Thade with me under guard.
Roll it.
1 and 1 is 2. With 0 in presence is a failure.
Oh, God.
Incredible.
We'll come back to that and see what that means in just a moment.
This is the absolute best thing that could ever happen.
It's literally not. It's the worst.
Esperanza, it is clear that this shuttlecraft that you snuck aboard was built for comfort, not for practical purposes. And so it's pretty easy to figure out how it works and how you could best disrupt its workings.
Zeta makes her way up to the control room. She's been in ships before, even though she's not completely familiar with all of the technological stuff. But she is definitely smart enough to find wiring under a panel at the bottom of the control center, and she just starts pulling out handfuls.
As you are pulling out handfuls of wiring, not only are you effectively disabling the ship, you also notice that someone has stashed something in the guts of this ship. As you find a plastic bag filled with the white powder, this is another asset. You have found a stash of recreational narcotics.
Oh, those are going in my pocket, baby.
So not only will this ship never fly again, whoever stashed those there
Won't be flying either. I crack open the bag a little bit. What does it smell like? What is it called?
This is a container full of Smooth, a powerful recreational narcotic that puts one's mind at ease and gives one a sense of confidence.
Oh, yeah, no, I dip a finger in that, rub a little on my gums, and just go on my way.
No, wait, you're in the middle of a high-stakes situation?
Yeah.
You can't do heroin and then go in a firefight?
A little bit. Tiny bit.
You better hope Space OSHA doesn't find out.
Valentine, Dr. Chapman has given you an assortment of ropes, nettings, chains, various things that you could possibly drag out of the cargo hatch of your ship for people to climb up. She seems very excited about this new swashbuckling lifestyle that she is taking up. All right, I think this will be the best one if we get close enough. It's the sturdiest, but this one might be a little bit longer if you want to hover higher. I don't know exactly what your goal was here.
So walk with me a little bit here, all right? So what I'm thinking currently is that we are going to utilize, truth be told, a little bit of luck, a little bit of gumption, some spit, and some dreams. Really, I'm just trying to get as many of the folks out of here as possible on the ship that is not grounded, and it also doesn't have one of those fucking blue dragons painted on it. If that means I've got to hook up to something to grab people and reel them on back up here, maybe a winch or something, whatever kind of great idea. Now, if I also have to kind of bring myself down a little bit lower to help yank people up, that's kind of where you come in. You're kind of like, you're the there's this old cartoon show I used to watch with my daughter, okay? It was called Stinky and Big Brain, all right? And it was about two space weasels, all right? Stinky and Big Brain, and well, Stinky was Stinky and Big Brain had a big brain. Anyways, they had something similar to this where there was a bunch of like moon rocks that were kept inside of this little base, and they had to go ahead and sneak inside this little base. So we're just kind of doing like a reverse Stinky and Big Brain, right? So like they're trying to use the ropes to sneak in, and we're trying to use the ropes to sneak out. So essentially what I'm thinking is that we can utilize centrifugal force. So we go ahead, lean down, hook this onto somebody somehow, and then we bring up a little bit, but then we dip back and slow down, so we just kind of usher them in safely into this hole. Now, if this is all crazy, you gotta really let me know, and so that we could probably try anything else. Literally, I'm kind of like the pie in the sky person that you have to kind of reel me back into like reality, because the sky is the limit when it comes to ideas. When it comes to me, I always tell the other two. I tell especially Swan. I'm like, there are no bad ideas on board the Kingfissher. All right, we will try anything at least twice.
I think that idea sounds excellent. Just how are we going to communicate to the team that this is what they're supposed to do?
Perfect. All right, so that's what I was thinking as well. You're spot on. Are you looking for a job? Is this like a contract thing or like a temp thing where like maybe like the contract runs out and you need to come and bring it back up? Anyways, it doesn't matter. So I'm thinking that maybe since you're the smart science person, you can go ahead and handleize all the like centrifugal force and like the whole like handling the winch and the operation and everything like that. That's easy. That's easy street. But the complicated thing is going to be utilizing a flag system, all right, to kind of communicate to folks down on the ground or anything like that. That's where I come into. So I'm going to try to like use a way to necessitate. Now I also have a bullhorn and I can kind of just like shout down, but utilizing like the bullhorn or like the intercoms, the speakers on the ship, they might not be able to hear it over the engine. So like bit of both flags and intercom.
Sounds like a plan. I will leave this to your expertise.
I love her.
Doesn't really sound like much of a plan. Sounds like a summation of a plan, but you know what? I appreciate your confidence.
Right. So, do you have flags?
Actually, I do. So if you just go ahead and give me a moment, and I'm just going to go ahead and grab a trunk and then pull it out and everything and open it up, and you will see that there are a variety of costumes and props from old movies and everything like that. And you will see that there is a set of 2 orange flags that it was from a very popular cult romantic comedy film. It didn't bust down the doors or anything. It wasn't a major blockbuster or anything. It wasn't a Notebook, certainly, or that was a romantic comedy, whatever. Doesn't matter. But it is about a traffic controller on a space station who falls in love with a pilot of a ship, and the whole thing kind of centers around where there's a big storm and the air traffic controller has to like kind of usher them in and everything like that. And so you will see these 2 little flags comes up. Hearts Under Control, you ever seen it?
No, but I'm not one for classic movies.
Oh, the Atraxian Point translation was something like Flag Time or, Love Without the E. I don't know. I'm not really big on the translations or anything like that, but I could probably use this to communicate, yeah?
Let's do it. This sounds like a day move to try and communicate your intentions to the crew beneath you. What are you afraid will happen if you and Diana fail in this attempt to communicate?
The exact wrong message is going to be communicated to everybody on the ground, and it's going to send them off to like maybe getting into the dig site to like hold down bunker in the temple on the dig site, or like have them run into the woods someplace or something like that. Just the completely wrong thing. There's a lot going on in this plan, and now I think Valentine is realizing that there's a lot of moving parts, and maybe we should have simplified. Simple tools, maybe a ramp.
All right. Roll me a day move with presence.
Absolutely. Oh, great. Hey, I love that. I'm going to go ahead and use advantage for marking my movie prop from Love Under Control.
Absolutely.
Of all of the props you could have pulled.
A pair of semaphore flags.
Yep.
A cult classic. Everyone wanted them.
Everybody wanted them. That is 5 plus 3 plus 1.
Down on the ground below you, Commander Thade takes a look at Dr. Avery. No, I don't think we'll be doing it that way. Men, why don't you take the scientists into the ruins, and I'll hold Dr. Kim here as a bit of leverage.
Leverage? Whatever for. We're cooperating entirely.
A little too much for my taste.
This is the first time I've ever encountered a man balking at too much cooperation. But very well. Take them to the find, gents.
You two, stay here with me. Make sure your guns are trained on him at all point. First sign of trouble, first shout from the ruins, execute.
Shit.
This is where you could always face a shade and bump that up to a mixed success.
Yeah, I'm gonna use a shade. And I'll be using a shade of the present.
All right, if you would read the prompt and then narrate.
Touch of the Precursors. Narrate a scene in which you come into contact with a powerful piece of precursor tech. It fundamentally changes something about you. Raise one ability modifier by 1 and lower another by 1. But because I am the xenoarchaeologist, I'm actually going to raise 2 by 1.
Would you go ahead and narrate exactly how this happens?
With the guns trained on me, these men being led away, I'm panicking. That's hardly necessary. And I subconsciously go to my bit of space rock in order to comfort myself and kind of like rub it as a fetish. And as the part of my fingers that were burnt by the precursor tech in my accordion case come into contact with this metal, it liquefies, seeps under my fingernails, and crawls up my hand into my veins, quickly coursing through, and then as it joins into my nervous system, becomes circuitry. The veins along the side of my temple arc out and darken, and then instead of their regular staccato lightning-like pattern, angle off and end in circuits. One of my eyes floods black, and I immediately see the layout of this ruin as it once was.
What is your stat change?
I'm bumping reason to 3 and sensitivity to 0. I'm going to drop vitality to -1. This hurts. And as this happens, I collapse to the ground in pain.
Hold up, men. I don't think the good doctor here is going to be causing too much of a problem the state they're in right now. So why don't we all just nice and friendly like go into these ruins? And Esperanza, as you burst through the jungle, catching up to your team, you see Commander Thade forcing the semi-conscious Dr. Avery into the ruins, and you see your ship, the Kingfissher, fly overhead, a pair of semaphore flags hanging out of the back cargo bay.
Why am I the only one taking this seriously? This is every time he's doing some stupid shit on the ship and then the other one is collapsing to the ground. Okay, it's fine. I'm fine. I rub a little bit more smooth on my gums. I see the semaphore signal. I grasp what Valentine is trying to do. I'd like to look for something in the camp that can help me get people higher so that they can reach the ship easier.
As you take a look around this empty camp, roll me one more recon move with reason to see what you find.
Okay, that's gonna be a 10.
LFG.
Valentine, on your latest buzz of the ruin site, you actually managed to glance down and see 3 of the scientists and your compatriot, Dr. Swan, being forced at gunpoint or being dragged into the ruins. Not only that, you also see Esperanza heading back towards the camp. What do you do?
I think there's that moment of like seeing like the doctor is like doing okay for the most part, and then realizing it's like, okay, we can maintain a holding pattern and everything like that here. I need to get people in. The captain's gonna look at the doctor and be like, you're sure you've never flown anything before in your life, right?
Yes, no, never flown anything.
Well, in the words of Papa Det, there's no time like the present to learn. So, truly, just kind of do what you're doing right now. Get all of these good folks up here. I've got to go assess the situation down on the ground, okay? Best way I know how, okay? All right. And then the captain, kind of seeing the situation is like dispersing. The fucking doctor's getting dragged to the dig site. Esperanza's running all over the place. I'm like, God, it does feel kind of lazy being up here. I'm going to go and run to the ropes, and I'm going to try to fast rope down. Hopefully having like a pair of gloves nearby, maybe. If not, that's okay. I can go ahead and we can both have ruined fingers, huh? How's that?
I'm not even going to call for a roll on this one. You scramble down the rope as Dr. Chapman does her best to hold you in a hovering pattern. And down there you meet Esperanza, who didn't manage to find anything that would help get people up to the ship necessarily, but what you did find might be a little more interesting. One of the few large pieces of precursor tech that had been taken from the ruins and brought back to camp has largely just been used as a mascot of this camp, because no one is quite sure exactly what it does. It's fairly large, about 10 feet tall, and in the middle of it is a hollow chamber that you're not quite sure what it's for. This is an asset, a strange device taken from the precursor ruins, larger than a person. Its purpose is unknown, but it has a large hollow chamber in its center. It could possibly be climbed up upon or have someone shoved in it and lifted by a winch. But that line of thought is interrupted by the Kingfisher hovering over you, and your companion, Captain Deck, quickly, hand over fist, climbing down a rope to the camp below.
Why are you on the ground? You're supposed to be in the ship. I'm bringing people to you for the ship.
Yeah, but I saw, like, that the dock was getting carried away down into the dig site.
Yes, I'm dealing with it.
And then you're doing such a great job of just being, like, inspiring and running around and doing a bunch of stuff, and I just kind of felt like I was useless. Because, like, the doctor up top is, like, just doing a fantastic job up there, and I just kind of wanted to be in the camaraderie and the spirit of, like, maybe you need me to, like, I don't know, like, punch somebody. Or
this
maybe,
is
like,
not
go...
the time. Oh, God. Okay, let's go then, I guess.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, no. Just think that this is like a ceremonial. I'm taking the captain hat off and I'm handing it.
I don't want the captain hat. I don't want it. Take it back.
Well, like we're on the ground, and so you're kind of like, you know, you've got your ground legs, and I've got like my air legs, and you know,
Why would I want your hat?
Well, not. It's like a metaphorical hat. Like I'm gonna keep my literal hat on. You don't want this thing. It's this thing's seeing a lot of sweat stains, and you know, you can't just wash that off. You know, it's just a really complicated process.
Esperanza just walks away and just starts telling scientists, like, starts sort of like lifting them and showing them how to like properly lift a person up onto this structure so that they can then get up into the ship. Okay, you all help each other. Scream if you need help. And then just grabs Valentine by like the scruff of his neck and just starts running with him down into the jungle.
Okay, yeah, all right. That's great. That's great. It's all good. You do have a tight grip.
The shockingly capable Dr. Chapman is able to oversee the rest of the archaeologists climbing aboard the Kingfisher while the two of you make your way through the jungle back to the dig site.
Look, I was just trying to... You're always saying that I should, you know, be a little bit more, entrepreneurial with our connections with folks. And seeing how we had a liaison that worked for the dig site, that worked along with us, I figured, what the heck? Bring them on as a co-pilot until, you know, we get off the rock and everything. And it's working out perfectly fine. Bird hasn't crashed once. Hasn't gotten one ding in it.
Zeta has pulled a flask from out of a pocket and takes a deep swig, thrusts it into Valentine's chest, and then grabs him by the shirt. There is a difference between entrepreneurial spirit, as you put it, and putting people in fucking danger, okay? When you make choices like this, people get hurt. I will not let people get hurt on my watch, okay? Not anymore. That's not what I'm here for.
Okay, yeah, that's very intense liquor and emotion coming from you. I just want to say that I recognize your thoughts and your opinions on how we have been conducting ourselves on the mission so far, and I'm categorizing them.
You talk like a fucking therapist.
It is not without, you know, my own thoughts and experiences before. I used to be a roughneck like you, okay? I used to be a little bit rough around the edges. You know, I would drag people around by their ear. Why do you think I have a crew of contract workers and temporary folks bringing on board the ship? You think that maybe if I was such a decent, good, and kind captain, I would have maybe a career storied crew of folks, and I wouldn't have had to hire on a security person, or I wouldn't have had to be charging an exorbitant amount to an artifactologist to have a bunk space across the hall from me to, I don't know, show me neat little tricks that they learned from books from 300 years ago. And, oh, how does this music sound? And it's just a bunch of just toots on a horn and everything. You know, maybe I wouldn't have got into that. Maybe if there was
Valentine, I'm not asking you to stop this. Just stop. I am asking you to stop. Just stop. Look, just don't be stupid. Please, just don't be stupid. Okay, stupid is how accidents happen, stupid is how people get hurt, and stupid is how people die.
Stupid is as stupid does. Oh, I can do that. I can, look, baseline, could have just said that from the start, but simply, I will stop being stupid. I will not be stupid.
I just need to know that you have my back, okay?
Shit, yeah, I got your back, Zeta, alright. I might be a little bit reckless, okay? I did things differently in my generation from your generation, okay? We've all got things to learn from. I could learn from you, you could learn from me, but thank you for establishing the fact that this is a boundary for you, and I will do my best to uphold it.
Talk like a person!
That's really fair critique, and I'll work on it.
Okay. Just starts taking deep breaths, like head against a tree.
You look like you could use this. I'm going to hand the flask back.
Deep drink. Okay. You are doing your best under the given circumstances, and I appreciate this. I'm just trying to look out for you, okay?
Shit, Zeta, that's really thoughtful of you. I appreciate it.
You don't.
And I've been thinking...
No! You don't have...
This is related to the mission. It's related to the mission. It has nothing to do with feelings or therapy speak or anything like that. This is related to the mission. How about I do what I do best?
Then you would be on the fucking ship.
I got other... Okay, I'm multi-talented, all right? I'm a multidisciplinarian, all right? There are other merits than just fantastic flying skills. I'm also an eloquent speaker, all right? And I have a way with articulating words that seems to draw people's attention, and you have a way of shooting bastards in the temple until they expire profusely. And so maybe we can put our skills together to work towards a goal, and we can talk about my performance later at our end of quarter review. All right?
I don't even know what that is. Just walks away.
I'm gonna follow after real quick and be like, just real quick though, like you seem like really like hard nosed and to the line, and like you like live on a live wire. You know, I was with a bunch of guys in the force that were like that, and so I just like, everything okay with like, just like, is there a way that like maybe like in your military experience, maybe there's a preferred way that I could talk with you and chat with you, maybe an example that you could provide me that I could come across as a little bit more thoughtful?
Oh, believe me, I know how very full of thoughts you are.
Thank you.
Well, that was quite the grounding move.
Y'all feel grounded? I feel grounded.
Oh, I feel so grounded.
I feel so like I'm grounded. I am like calm. I'm focused.
The grounding move reads, when you have an intimate moment with another crew member while one of you is engaged in your little piece of home, you may each clear an appropriate condition. If it's your little piece of home, you can also stumble on an asset relevant to the active adventure. Tell the keeper what it is. The asset cannot conclusively solve the problem by itself. So, if you would like to go ahead and remove your appropriate conditions. And Nat, since Esperanza's little piece of home is mixology, you are the one who finds the asset. What is it?
All right, so first I'm going to remove my condition outnumbered and outgunned, because I am no longer so outnumbered. I have a friend now, despite how annoying I think he is. And the asset that I'd like to find, as Esperanza and Valentine are up on this vantage point looking down at the temple, she notices a ramp that leads from outside the temple down into the depths of it.
Let's call that a secret passage to the inner heart of the Precursor ruins. And speaking of those ruins, Avery, you come to, deep within the complex, a gun pointed at the back of your neck, the archaeologists that you have spent the past couple days with, all on their knees, with guns also pressed to their necks, and the imposing Commander Thade standing in front of you. According to your men, Dr. Kim, the greatest treasure in this building has not yet been removed. Why don't you and I go pay a personal visit to it? And if you think of trying anything funny, my men will be holding yours as collateral.
Flight of the Kingfisher is a Kitten Marlowe production. This episode was edited and produced by Kim Dalton and featured a theme song by Jason Myers. You can find out more about us by visiting kittenmarlowe.com, signing up for our newsletter, or following us on socials. For Discord access, exclusive cast talkbacks, TTRPG materials, and more, visit patreon.com/kittenmarlowe and join the folks on the frontier, our Kitten Marlowe patrons, in supporting artist-driven storytelling. Thanks for listening.